Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very first event of the Energy and Nanotechnology Strategy for the Future Conference. I'm Edward Jeredjian. I'm the director of the Baker Institute here at Rice University, and it's an honor for me to be here this evening to introduce the Honorable Kay Bailey Hutchison, our distinguished senator from Texas, on the eve of our major conference on energy and nanotechnology. Not only is it a pleasure to introduce Senator Hutchison and acknowledge her outstanding contributions to our nation's foreign and domestic policy, but also to welcome her again to Rice University, to thank her personally for the support she has shown for our institution, our city, and its future. Texans can claim fame and so many things, whether it is startling new methods for open-heart surgery or the most innovative oil drilling technologies in the world. So perhaps we are not overly optimistic to begin the 10th anniversary of the founding of the Baker Institute with a conference investigating how nanotechnology might contribute solutions to the global energy problem. And energy is not just a critical national concern to the United States, but also, and obviously, a global one. War in the Middle East, the recent political disturbances in Venezuela and Nigeria, emerging environmental pressures, all these events underscore the need for new, more secure sources of energy. The rate of growth in energy demand worldwide runs the risk of outpacing affordable, clean supplies unless we can muster not only conservation and evolutionary improvements to existing technologies, but also, and here's the word, revolutionary new breakthroughs in the energy field. And this is what we're going to be exploring during this very important conference. The Baker Institute is honored and pleased to join forces with Rice Center for Nanoscale Science and Technology, the Environmental and Energy Systems Institute, and the Rice Alliance for Technology and Entrepreneurship to initiate a national dialogue on science and energy policy. We would also like to thank our sponsors, including the Shell Oil Company Foundation, Matt Simmons of Simmons & Company International, Dr. and Mrs. John Thrash, the Baker Institute Roundtable, and the Baker Institute Energy Forum. We have amongst us in this room tonight many of the greatest scientific minds in the energy field, including our Nobel laureate, Dr. Rick Smalley. And they will be speaking over the next 2 days about the technical and policy challenges that confront us in the energy area. This meeting is the first in a series of programs on energy policy and nanoscience. Later this year, Rice University, with support from the U.S. Department of Energy and the National Science Foundation, will be leading a national workshop to investigate the potential for energy solutions to come from new technologies and new materials that are lighter and stronger than steel. And tonight, we celebrate the beginning of the conference with a wonderful greeting by one of our nation's finest legislators, immediately followed by a reception sponsored by the Baker Institute Roundtable across the plaza in our Baker Institute Doré Commons, which you're all cordially invited. It is fitting that Senator Hutchison be the one to open our conference and our today's event. She has been a great friend to scientific research throughout her career, and she has a clear and deep understanding of the challenges that face our nation in the area of energy security. Few legislators have accomplished more in the area of energy policy than Kay Bailey Hutchison. She has fought tirelessly for energy bills that will strengthen the U.S. industry and provide security and moderate energy prices for our country's economic progress, not only now as a respected member of the U.S. Senate, but also during her days in the Texas House of Representatives. Among her many accomplishments, Senator Hutchison was elected in 2001 the Vice Chair of the Senate Republican Conference, becoming one of the top 5 leaders of Senate Republicans. The senator became the first woman to represent Texas in the U.S. Senate in 1993 and was overwhelmingly reelected in 2000. She is a leading voice on foreign policy and national security issues, and we warmly welcome her today to talk about the challenges ahead for science, Texas, and energy. Join me in greeting Senator Hutchison.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I'm so pleased to be here, Mr. Ambassador, and I think that what the Baker Institute is bringing to our city and our state is very important. I've attended others of your seminars, and you bring wonderful people in, and it's just a treasure for Houston and for all of us that you do this, and I appreciate that very much. I really am pleased to be able to open this because I think it is a very important area for us to discover. And I want to talk about a couple of things that I'm doing in these areas because I think it is so important for the future of our state and our nation. In 1945, Harry Truman said, "No nation can maintain a position of leadership in the world today unless it develops to the full its scientific and technological resources. No government adequately meets its responsibilities unless it generously and intelligently supports and encourages the work of science in university, industry, and its own laboratories." That was 1945. Now, I think that was a great statement in 1945, but look at what is happening today. I don't even think Harry Truman could have envisioned what scientific research has done for us, what NASA and space exploration has done for us. So I think that it is our mantle, our responsibility to now go forward and make sure that America does keep its preeminence in the world by being bold, by having vision, by keeping our commitment to scientific and medical research. When I went on the Appropriations Committee in 1997, I started seeing a lot of federal dollars going out to a lot of different places. But I was most interested in our institutions of higher education and the ones who do research. And I started looking at Texas' position in federal dollars to our research institutions of higher education. And I found that Texas was number 6 in our country. And I thought, well, okay, I can understand that California is going to be number 1. I could even understand that New York was number 2 because, after all, they have been at this longer than we have. But I could not understand that we were 6th. So I decided to bring in the heads of all of our research institutions in Texas to Washington, and to bring in the heads of the federal agencies that do the most research at our institutions of higher education. And over the 4-year period, I have had the chancellors and the presidents of all of our medical schools and our research institutions. And I am very pleased to say that Malcolm Gillis from Rice University has been one of the leading supporters of the efforts that we have made. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But what I did is, the first year I brought in the Department of Defense and NASA and the Department of Energy. The second year, the National Institutes of Health. The third year, Homeland Security and NIH, because, of course, we had a 5-year doubling of the NIH budget. So I knew that our medical research was certainly going to be a priority. And this year, I brought in the National Science Foundation. And Dr. Neil Lane, of course, was very helpful to us in helping us understand what they were looking for, because we were particularly low in our number of grants funded at the National Science Foundation. So we've had a lot of people coming in, and what I asked our institutions to do was basically 2 things. I said, find your center of excellence. I am not for research coming into Texas just because we're Texas. I want our centers of excellence to be getting the research because we have something to offer. And I also know that we can make things better with more dollars, and we can take our centers of excellence and build them. And secondly, I ask our institutions not to duplicate. I don't want UT and A&M doing the same things, because I think there are different centers of excellence that can be increased. And so I asked them to look for ways that they could find their own center of excellence and their own niche. And then secondly, where they get ideas from these federal agencies and maybe they have a center of excellence, but they don't have everything that it would take to do the right research, I asked them to join in consortia so that we could have Rice University and the University of Texas and Texas A&M putting their centers of excellence together and going for a grant. Well, I want to say here that Malcolm Gillis has been the most wonderful support in this area. For one thing, Rice has such stature, and they have, particularly in the area that you will be talking about tomorrow, nanotechnology, we have the godfather of nanotechnology sitting in our very midst, Dr. Smalley. And because Malcolm Gillis was so open to being a big thinker, he has helped us take some of the resources of Rice University and put them with centers of excellence in other universities. So we now have some terrific consortia with Rice University in nanotechnology. I just got $6 million for an effort that is Rice, University of Texas at Austin, University of Texas at Dallas, and University of Texas at Arlington, that is going to be a major nanotechnology research project. NASA just did a $15 million project in which Texas A&M is the lead. Rice is a part of that. University of Houston is part of that. Texas Southern University is part of that. And we are beginning to really build a lot bigger areas of research than we could have done on our own. Particularly, Rice is working with the medical schools. Texas A&M is working with Baylor on a heart pump that Michael DeBakey is testing on dogs at Texas A&M. This heart pump will keep people alive before they can have the open heart surgery or the heart transplant that they would need. So these are just some of the things. We have something at MD Anderson also, a DREAMS program, where we are taking the United States Army is funding a program at the emergency rooms at the medical center across the street, and they are learning how to treat people in the battlefield from the emergency rooms and the ambulances and the ambulance helicopters and the communication between the helicopters and the doctors who are on the ground, who then will be prepared for treating the patients because they already know what the problems are. And these are techniques that are now being used on the plains of Afghanistan and Iraq. So these are just a few of the things that I think are so exciting. And oh, by the way, in the 4 years since we've done this, Texas has moved from 6th to 4th. And I am very pleased that Texas brought in $1 billion the last year that it was counted, 2001. And I think we are on the way up to being number 3. And I think this is going to enhance our educational institutions, the quality of the product that our students will get. It will give students access to these great minds and also the research projects. So I think it's a win-win. And I just want to thank Rice University for being a major player and the vision of Dr. Gillis in that, and I'm really excited about Dr. Smalley and the spring effort that is going to, I think, be a very strong beginning for all of us to be preeminent in the nanotechnology field. Now, I also want to say that you all are going to be thinking a whole lot farther ahead than I am with nanotechnology as an energy resource, but I will bring you the latest from Washington about what we are trying to do in the energy area. Last year, we passed an energy bill in the House and an energy bill in the Senate, and it never got out of the conference committee, so we did not pass a comprehensive energy bill that would have taken the steps to try to make our country more self-sufficient in energy. We are creeping up on 60% of our energy needs being provided from imports. That is not a stable situation for the greatest nation on earth. So we are now going to try to pass an energy bill out of the Senate. It came out of committee last week, And I think we have a chance to pass a bill that is going to do some real good. I want to talk about some of the things that I think are important and some of the things that are in the bill. ANWR is important. It is not in the Senate bill. It will be in the House bill. But I think it is very important for us to tap this major resource of oil and gas in our country, and it can be done in an environmentally safe way. We want to take an area the size of San Antonio Airport in an area the size of the state of South Carolina. And there's no forest or anything around this little piece of ANWR. It's really all plains, and it's frozen most of the year. The only time that you would be drilling in there is when it is not frozen, which is about 3 months of the year. But if we can tap ANWR, it will create jobs in America, and it will create the same amount of oil that we import from Saudi Arabia every day when it is up and running. So if we are going to be energy sufficient and we are going to look to our own resources, ANWR should be a part of our energy package. ANWR is not in the Senate bill. It is in the House bill. We'll see if we can get it. Now, a lot of people dismiss the small wells that can be drilled, but actually, if we put all of our small wells, which are 15 barrels a day or less, together, we can also have the same amount of oil as we have imported from Iraq every day. 1 million barrels a day can come from new and marginal wells, the 15 barrel a day or less. So in the bill is my bill that gives tax credits for new and marginal drilling. For 15 barrels a day or less wells, if the price goes below $18 a barrel, there would be a $3 a barrel tax credit. Now that's not very much, but it does allow that small driller to know that if the price goes down, they're not going to go out of business because their margins are, of course, very thin because their costs are high. And this is going to be in both bills. It will pass, and it will allow some of the wells that were capped when oil was $11 a barrel to be reopened. We also have delay rental and G&G provisions in the bill, and those will also pass. So you will be able to get deductions for your geological exploration costs and your delay rental payments, and this will be very helpful for encouraging people to go out and explore in our country. So in addition to that, there are also some provisions in this bill that will encourage other kinds of technologies and other kinds of energy. For one thing, nuclear energy, which has gone by the wayside pretty much in our country, not completely, but a very safe and clean form of energy is nuclear energy. And there will be provisions that will make it easier to invest in nuclear energy again, so that we can try to create an environmentally safe and security safe energy industry in nuclear energy. We also have in the new bill provisions for hydrogen energy, wind energy, solar energy, and some others besides the traditional oil and gas. What we're trying to do is have conservation, which is also part of the bill, production and exploration in our own country, and also try to have new sources of energy, and maybe your conference will also come up with some ideas for the other ways that we could encourage new kinds of energy to make our country more self-sufficient. So I am very pleased that you are looking at the future, trying to determine how we can best find energy resources and utilize the great innovations that we are going to have in nanotechnology. And I also hope that you will talk about something that Dr. Smalley and I were talking about a little bit ago, and that is making sure that our young people go into science and engineering and medicine. We have not been able to keep our young people as a pipeline into the scientific and research arena. We have found that most, well, maybe 20% of our high school graduates even have the prerequisites to go into an engineering program in college. The head of Lockheed Martin told me that with the new Joint Strike Fighter project that he's going to build in Fort Worth, he could hire every engineering graduate of every university in the state of Texas for the next 10 years, and he still would not have enough engineers. So we need to have a bigger pipeline in these very important areas for our future. At one time, I think NASA was the greatest marketing tool that we had to increase the interest of young people in math and science, because NASA gripped our young people, made it interesting, made it fun. But we've got to do that again, and we've got to go into the elementary schools and the junior high schools. If we wait till high school, it's too late. We've got to go into junior high and elementary school in order to show our young people that engineering and science and research can be fun. And I'm going to let Dr. Smalley think of the fun ways that it can be presented, because I know you'll do it better than I could. But this is an area that we should not overlook, and I'm glad that someone of your stature cares about this issue, because if we aren't bringing our young people in, there won't be any Dr. Smalleys in the future from America. So I am very pleased that you are calling this conference, that you're having it, that you will explore and hopefully come up with some new ideas, and I'll look forward to hearing them. And hopefully government can work together with our thinkers to make sure that our pipeline is full and that our research institutions in Texas get the great opportunities that they deserve, because we have the ratings, we have the stature, we have 13 Nobel laureates in Texas, and I think we should be applauding their research and making sure that we are supporting them in every way. And all the members of the foundations, the academies that also produce such great work. So thank you very much, and I'm very happy to see all of you.
The senator is on a very tight schedule, but Ward, I think there's a presentation that you would like to make to the senator.
I'd like to introduce Paul Barbara from the University of Texas at Austin and John Ferraris from the University of Texas at Dallas, and we have a presentation to make to the senator about SPRING. She didn't tell you what SPRING is. It's a strategic partnership for research in nanotechnology. SPRING. Paul?
Senator Hutchison.
You see why I didn't tell you what it was.
It's a pleasure to present you this plaque, which celebrates the establishment of SPRING, the Strategic Partnership for Research in Nanotechnology. And on behalf of the faculty and the students of the participating universities, it is our pleasure to thank you for your strong support of this vital initiative. Thank you.
Of the 4 universities that are actually participating.
That's great. Well, I can't wait to see the results. It's wonderful. And I look forward to hearing more about it.
Thank you very much.